Charlie, Greig, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Robert. Yeah, always great to be back in
Toronto
Ontario.
or Ontario?
Yeah.
Actually, my first time at the pre-PDAC MEEEF. Great panel, and really enjoyed having you on. Tell us about how it feels to be one of like the veterans of this industry in this environment we're in right now. Where like you have the NIV Copper Gold Porphyry Project for 15 years, and now you can get it funded, and you get majors who want to participate, and now you can drill.
You know what, Rob? It feels very good, actually. Maybe not being old, but the other side of it is great. It's it's a great project. We've shopped it a little bit, not too hard, because we've got other things on the go. But to actually get the kind of funding in to test something like this well, with more than one hole, for example. I mean, it's never been drilled, but get the funding where you can go in with a substantial drill program, which is what properties really need. I mean, you need a number of holes, so it's exciting. Yeah, really exciting.
So tell us about the company's funding right now. How much cash do you have, and how many meters will you drill this year at NIV?
Well, we're pushing 10 million. We've got quite a bit of that. I think 6.8 is flow through. So even though it's a helicopter supported program, we're still going to be doing a substantial amount of drilling, somewhere between 4 and 8. I think, it'll probably be, around 7 or something like that with that flow through that has to be spent, this year. So, it's going to be spent on drilling.
So you start in June, you get the crew out there, you mobilize to camp in June.
Yep.
And then drilling through August or September, all depending upon, I guess, a multitude of factors.
Mm-hmm.
How late can you push a program there?
I think you could push it to the end of October, depending. Saddle, we drilled into October and it was pretty high with GT Gold. And we did the first drill program there. I think we had a kitchen tent that the fly didn't even zip up on. So by mid-October, the crew was rebelling. But if you set up a little, more substantial camp, you'd be fine. Like you make sure that the fly zips up so the wind can't blow in and freeze the cook to death. So, you can, you got to be ready. We're not far from the road. The Omineca Mine access road used to be a bit of a limiting factor, but it was kept open through the winter this year. So that's, part of it, right? When you do finally have to escape because winter's coming on and you got an alpine camp and you're using a helicopter, you want to be able to get out safely.
Okay, so you're starting with one rig?
Starting with one, but yeah, I think, with that number of meters, depends on drill production, but yeah, you'd have to get going early and fast and have good production. So there's a good chance we'll be bringing in a second one.
Okay, so tell us about the NIV Copper Gold Porphyry Project, sort of a quick summary of how you got it and what's so compelling about it.
Well, Alex Walcott, my partner, geophysics geophysicist, identified this thing kind of really through a regional mag survey. He liked the trend. He'd been working farther south along that trend and saw some things that excited him geophysically and looked at some of the min file occurrences in the old data. There was one there that had some interesting silver, I think, for the most part, and because it does have some silver there, and he liked that and staked it and optioned out to a little company that I had optioned some properties to as well. And then that's kind of where we met. And then within a year or two, it came back to him, and then we were sort of partners from there on a number of properties, some of which we still have and are still partners on. And this one, we really didn't get going on it. We had guys on the ground, including my son, Roy, in 2016, I think, to keep it in good standing. And then eventually we were staked around by Northwest Copper and they advanced their property. And, we were both busy. I was busy with GT. Alex was in on that one too, and didn't notice that they kind of basically ring staked us
A
couple of times. So, we've had it for a long time. And when they drilled, a hole on that one and found copper gold mineralization, it's like, well, yeah, this actually looks pretty good. got on the ground myself and said, this thing actually looks really good. Let's keep working. And we've kind of ramped it up, and here we are.
So as far as testing these anomalies, there's a bunch of strong soil anomalies, and the IP looks good, underneath them.
Yeah.
What's the process in terms of how you test it, how you step out along that long trend there at NIV?
Well, I think it's it's a keep it simple, stupid kind of process. Really, you want to go, okay, where is the best geochemistry that lines up with the chargeability and the the resistivity is good all along the trend. So they're resistive rocks, but with chargeable, a chargeable characteristic as well, where those correspond, and you're near a mag high. The whole broad trend is a mag low, but there's punctuated by some mag highs, and presumably in the sort of porphyry model, often those mag highs represent an intrusion, and on the ground they do. So it's simple. Near one of those, drill the chargeability where there's really good soil geochemistry and see what's down there.
See what's down there.
Yeah.
So how deep are we going to drill this year? Like how deep do you need to go to really test, the IP anomalies?
Well, I don't really see it as an open pitable target. It's, a copper, gold, moly, porphyry, with a bit of silver, and some of those are really good grade. And, that's kind of the way I see it, is like, okay, so we got to test the depth. What are the depth of the IP anomalies? Well, you only can really see maybe to 400 meters down. So Alex has ran a deeper looking survey, and the IP anomalies look good down to there. You can't really see any deeper. When you want to drill probably offensive holes across that anomaly, the anomaly runs basically north-northwest to south-southeast. Let's drill across that. So you're drilling to the southwest on angle holes. Maybe you put 2 or 3 together. And I would say the shallowest hole might be 400 meters, but you get, and not from surface, but on an angle hole, because you want to go across the geology, and you drill offensive holes, so parallel angle holes, probably on average 500-600 meters, and 2 or 3 in a string right across it. Let's see where it is. It's it's reflecting the geology, that geophysics. It's a pretty nice signature. So let her rip.
So you're going to start with like 3 fences of 3 holes each, go about 500 or so meters each, and then go from there.
Yeah, go from there. And I mean, if you're down 500 meters and it's looking better, you keep going.
You keep going.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, so that's NIV. Let's talk briefly about the Highland Valley Project, right near Teck's largest copper mine in Canada.
Yeah. What
are the plans there, and what is the possibility there, you think?
Well, that one is very interesting. I know the predecessor company that Metal Energy optioned that property off, and it was before I was involved with Metal Energy, and I actually invested in that one myself. And that's kind of a till covered area south of where the major deposits are. They've drilled a couple of zones called Zone 1 and Zone 2, and I can't remember which one is on the west and which is on the east. They're sort of smallish, but they haven't been tested to depth. There's a number of other good soil geochem anomalies. So that is a till-covered area, so there's some dispersion. But we did the technical work on that property, the soil geochem sampling crews that worked for my little consulting firm. And I thought the soil geochem worked. There's some dispersion, but where they discovered that Zone 1 and Zone 2, Highland Valley type deposits, not as big, the soil geochem worked. So there's a number of other anomalies on that property that have never been drill tested, other than the odd little hole here and there by the real old timers, really, really shallow stuff. And it didn't even really test, the best soil geochem. So I think we just follow up on those things. Geophysics doesn't work quite as well. The Highland Valley deposits are not very chargeable. So you got to be very careful with that. But we've done a lot of that work. Alex's crew has done that over the years, and even his father. So we're just, we're moving that one slowly along. We're in the permitting process, and that one's just, chugging away in the background.
Final question, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Tell us about the largest shareholders of the company.
That is the OR Group. So OR Group is behind this. Stephen Stewart, I think, might even own 10% of the company. So he's, I presume, founder of the OR group. We've worked with Stephen and his group with American Eagle Gold. We've done the technical on their properties. I should have mentioned that this morning. Maybe I'm getting trouble, get myself in trouble. I don't know. I'm always in trouble anyway. So, but they've been great partners on American Eagle Gold. I mean, it's a challenging project that just keeps getting better and better with more and more drilling, and they've
Great hole
stuck
this
with
morning.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great hole, and it's just a matter of sometimes these properties take more patience. And, I think Metal Energy NIV property is a good example of that too, right? Alex and I have held that thing for how long? 15 years, pretty much. It takes some patience, and OR Group has patience, and they've got a really nice complementary skill set to what we bring. So, yeah, really happy to have them on board.
Thanks, Charlie.
You bet. Thanks, Robert.